Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? X marks the spot. Now when you get Xfinity Internet for 12 months, you can add the new Stream Saver for $15. That includes Netflix, Peacock, and Apple TV+. That's Xfinity Internet and Stream Saver for just $35 a month. All your favorites, all in one place, all for one low price. For more watching and less spending, X marks the spot. Switch to Xfinity, the network made for streaming, and bring on the good stuff.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC here in the Preps KC studio, powered by Xfinity Internet. Count on a reliable connection for all your devices, even when everyone's online. All right, we're starting off the MRVC West Virtual Media Day, and we're joined by center coach Rob Paldepi. And coach, second year, so you got all the first year stuff out of the way. So now you had a full off season, a full summer. How has that summer been? I know you guys are going to be pretty young this year, but it's got to be exciting working with a lot of young kids who are probably ready to go.
Yeah, so we had a great summer. Like I said, we have a great 9th and 10th grade class coming in, and I got my staff in. So we had some changes: new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, and so they had a really good chance to bond with those kids this summer and learn the new systems. And yeah, we're excited to get going.
Well, you don't have really that many starters come back on either side of the ball, and so there's got to be a ton of competition this summer, just seeing what guys fit where.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just my vision to put kids in the best possible scenario. It kind of limits your two-way players in high school because there's only a few kids that really should be doing that. And so it's just really about putting kids in the right position to have success.
What have you seen out of that offense? I'm assuming you've seen a ton of growth from first part of the summer to when you had your first practice today.
Very much so. We got a couple of young quarterbacks who, now they can understand their drops and read the reads they need to make, and just shoot. Sometimes just not throwing that ball like a UFO. Shoot. Now we get a solid spiral every time coming out. I mean, because when that first day, man, I don't know if they could hit a barn, but
Well,
But
tell
like
me
I
this:
said, now they're starting to play some football.
defensively, what do you like?
So we're strong. So defense will be our strength. Like I said, that's where our returning starters are, and a little bit of our age, because we really only have one true senior that's played all 4 years of high school football, and then we have a couple of juniors on this side of the ball that saw a lot of time last year. So those kids will be big on our secondary. Our secondary will be our strength for sure.
A little bit of change in the conference in terms of coaches. Pat Richard moves out, and Ryan Sharks, who's at Fort Osage and won state title over there, moves in. For you though, you were just learning those guys last year. Do you feel a little better, knowing it's you know what you're going to see in your conference week in, week out?
Yeah, I am interested to see Oak Grove not running that wing tee for the first time ever. I don't know, because when I was at Northeast, we played Oak Grove as well. So I've been seeing. And Coach is a great guy, man. I enjoyed working with him with the conference stuff too. Like I said, a lot of success there. So yeah, I'm excited to see the changes that are going to happen. And like you said, I know Warrensburg's got that quarterback coming back, and it's it's a good. I mean, a good football player. So I mean, like you said, more time to watch film and understanding the programs and what they do. So yeah, like second year, I have a lot more familiarity and figure some things out.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Appreciate you.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC here in the Preps KC studio, powered by Xfinity Internet, the fastest internet with the multi-gig speeds to the most homes. All right, as we start going through here and continuing the MRVC West Virtual Media Day, we're joined by Clinton coach Todd Mowry. And Coach, not a big win amount last year, but this is still your second year back from taking a JV, and you have got guys that are now really getting that varsity experience underneath them. What do you like about the guys you got coming back from last year, and how was your summer?
So far, like I said, we don't have a ton of returners coming back, but the ones we do got a lot of playing time, and they're kind of starting to come together, on both sides of the ball. So that's been a plus for us. Basically, this senior group has been I believe I'm their third head coach since they've been in. And so this is the first year that they've not had to learn a new system, and it's kind of helped us out, quite a bit going into it. So the summer we've kind of took it easy a little bit, and hit a few camps here and there, and so far, like, I'm happy with where we're at, and we know we still got a long ways to go to get to where we want to be.
How's the culture? I mean, I know it was a tough decision to go JV, but you guys really have improved the years after that, and your numbers have gotten better. How are people now kind of like after that break, excited
Yeah,
about the third year back in?
right. Yeah. So when I took over the program last year, we had some culture problems and some things that they weren't used to, and we just kind of put our expectations in front of them, and they ran with it. So we noticed this year we're kind of starting to get a few guys that are kind of starting to express their leadership a little bit. And like I said, we've still got steps that we need to take, but we're definitely heading in the right direction. We got a really solid junior group coming in this year, so we're excited to see what they can do. And then our handful of seniors too that are. I think they're just glad to have a little stability with them finally.
A little bit of change in the conference here, not teams, but a new coach in Oak Grove. Ryan Sharks comes over from Fort Osage, state championship winning. That's a team that's going to look a little different than they
Yeah,
have in the
yeah,
past.
yeah. You're exactly right. I'm anxious to see what he does up there, and I know they've got some really good pieces. Noah Spencer's going to be back, and I know he's been doing a lot of great things, and I look for them to be a pretty tough to beat team this year, and kind of excited to see what they're going to do as well.
Well, everybody looks like they're. That's the thing about the MRVC West. There's no soft spots in that schedule, is there?
No, there's not at all, and that's a thing. You hear people that are talking about, well, this team lost this people and this person, and this team lost them, and it doesn't matter. They've still got plenty of key pieces all the way across the conference. So even on the down years, there's all them teams are still tough.
Offense or defense, or maybe a position group that's really either surprised you or they've really taken a big step forward for you?
Yeah, I think offensively, we're starting to really start to click, and we got a lot of key pieces that are coming back there. Cannon Lafarge will be our starting quarterback this year. He'll be a 4-year varsity. Well, I say that he'll be a 4-year starter. The first year he was when they went JV only, but he's really taking control of that offense. And like I said, this is the first year that they've been in the program where they haven't had to learn something new
Yeah.
over the summer. So that's played a big part in it too. Everybody's kind of familiar with, we made some coaching changes this year, and the offense is going to look a little bit different from last year, but everybody's pretty confident in what we got going on, and it's really made a difference this summer so far.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thanks, Dion. Appreciate you having us.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC here in the Preps KC studio, powered by Xfinity Internet. Count on a reliable connection for all your devices, even when everyone's online. All right, we move along here in the MRVC West Virtual Media Day and talk with Harrisonville coach Brent Maxwell. And Coach, been back on the job again for a couple years here, and the AD's moving back into coaching is a trend that you started, and now Ryan Sharts is doing in Oak Grove. So you got a new coach coming in the league, but you guys return a lot of players on your team. What excites you about this group?
Well, exactly that. I think the past couple of years we've had some great kids, and unfortunately our senior classes haven't been extremely large, so we've had to place some of these kids that were young. A lot of times when they were sophomores, and then obviously juniors, but a couple of them even as freshmen. So this year, finally coming into our third year back at this, now we're really top heavy there, with seniors and juniors with a ton of experience. So it's been very enjoyable just to see how much they've matured and grown over the past couple years. Not only just emotionally and socially, but also physically. We've had a good summer in the weight room, I think, and I just think from a mindset of we know what we need to do now, whereas before they didn't know what they didn't know. And they still don't know what they don't know, but they're starting to figure that piece of it out. So we're looking forward to kind of being able to compete this year, hopefully at a higher level, what we were accustomed to doing a few years back. And I think if we can stay healthy, I think it can be a fun year.
As you've gone through the offseason and through the summer, is there one side of the ball or position group that's really stepped out for you?
Well, you know what I think, defensively, I think early on, he always seems to be ahead of the offense a little bit. At least I'm going to tell myself that as an offensive coach, and we're not quite as fine tuned as I'd like for us to be yet. But again, we've got a lot of experience on that defensive side. Returning and some kids that were all conference, all district players last year. So they really have seemed to gel so far early this summer anyway, and looking forward to seeing how they can continue to mature. And again, just having that age and that experience, they're not thinking quite as much. I think they're just reacting and going to play football and being very physical about it. So it's been kind of fun to see. And offensively, we've got some. I think we've got some weapons. That hopefully we can continue to develop. And if we can put together some guys up front, that will find that right combination anyway. I think we've got some guys. We just got to find that right combination. If we can do that, I think we could have some success on that side as well. So.
Well, I know that you have history with offenses somewhat being behind defenses of the state championship year. I think there was a game at Platte County where you put the ball on the ground like 5-6 times, and that team seemed to do okay in the end.
They did. We don't necessarily want to replicate that, but we do use that as a reference point at times. That was a rough one. So yeah, I don't know that I care to ever go through a game like that again, though, where you had the ball 10 times and I think we turned it over 8 times maybe, and I don't know that we ever crossed the 50-yard line. So, but we were fortunate enough to have some good kids, and they stuck with it. And things got okay for us that year.
I was going to say, if anybody wonders how that ended, it was you and I talking on the field for the broadcast after winning a state championship down in Springfield.
Game, so.
Yeah, no doubt. But tell me this, culture-wise, how your kids been this summer in terms of leadership? I bet with a group of seniors and juniors that have been getting major playing time, they're probably doing pretty well.
They are. It's been really fun. We kind of have a leadership council anyway every year. That the coaches select, and we include seniors, juniors, obviously, but we include sophomores and freshmen as well. Just they vocally, they're not necessarily they don't participate the most, but just to kind of see what the expectations are, but also to work as liaisons. At that age, sometimes a freshman's not comfortable coming and talking to an older player or a coach if something isn't going well or if they just have questions. So those leadership council guys, that's a great go between. They can, their players, their peers, their age can kind of talk to them, and then in turn they can come and relay that to us. Just because we do spend quite a bit of time during the summer, I enjoy that maybe just as much as going out to practice during the summer, to be quite honest, just to get to know the kids on a personal level and just listen to see, where they think we are. Times I'm not getting any younger, I guess. So, we tend to do the things that we had success with when we were young, or maybe even when we were athletes. But, we got to try to, I think, adapt with the times a little bit. There's still some things that are pretty tried and true, I think, that still stand today as they did probably 30 years ago. But there's some things that, I got to sometimes think past where I've been and listen to what our guys have to say and some of their recommendations. And I think they enjoy that sense of ownership too. So, but our juniors and seniors have done a really, really good job this year. I think taking what they've learned from our leadership groups the previous 2 years, but this year really just grasping this and seeing the big picture. And it's been really good. It's been very competitive in the weight room. More so. I mean, it always is, but this summer it's been even more so, I think. And a lot of that has to do with them, I think, creating that atmosphere and that culture of, hey, we're not going to get better just because. We're going to get better because it's fun too. And when you can have fun when you're working hard, good things are going to happen.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Dion Closo with Preps KC here in the Preps KC studio powered by Xfinity Internet. Count on a reliable connection for all your devices, even when everyone's online. All right, let's go ahead and continue through the MRVC West Virtual Media Day and bring in someone that may look familiar to some football fans if they've been following it for a while here in the Metro. Ryan Sharts, former Fort Osage coach and won a state title there, who's now the AD and head football coach at Oak Grove. And coach, it's great to have you back. It's a sentiment I've been hearing from a lot of other coaches. Some that are getting ready to play you, maybe not as excited about having you back, but glad you're back in the coaching profession. What's it like to be back on the sideline with a whistle and barking out orders again?
Well, it's really fun. I can tell you I'm out of shape. After being out for 8 years, running around on the sideline, you'd have to ask my wife, who was super happy because I lost my voice first weekend, so she didn't have to listen to me at home. But no, I mean, all seriousness, it's just been great to be around kids again in that kind of capacity. I've been the athletic director at Fort for the last 8 years, and while I'm around kids and I'm always trying to get to know kids, it's hard to develop those relationships when you're not actually coaching those kids. And the deep bonds that you have with kids, it was great. I was in the weight room with all these kids all summer long, got to know them all, and had some real good camp days. And it's just fun to start those relationships over again.
What are the numbers like? What's the look of the guys? I mean, you've got a little bit of time to get to know them. I know you know some of them because your son, both your sons, you guys live in Oak Grove, so that has to help that transition period.
It does help. I've known a lot of these kids since they were younger because I had actually helped a friend of mine coach in their youth basketball league when they were very little. I mean, we're talking about fifth, sixth graders, fourth, fifth, sixth graders, something like that. So I know some of the kids in the class from that. And then I actually volunteered to help coach a sixth grade youth team out here when I knew we were going to move into the district. So I got to know those kids. Those are kids who are going to be freshmen this year. So I mean, it's one of those deals where I know a lot of them already. So those relationships are there, but there's a lot of upperclassmen that I don't know, and I've been trying to get to know them a little bit more. And we do have some very talented athletes out here at Oak Grove, so that's been a pleasant surprise.
Well, I know that when a coaching change happens, it's usually different schemes and things like that. What do you see out of these kids that's got you excited that you can fit them to your stuff and fit your stuff to their talents?
Well, the previous staff did a really, really good job. Coach Richard, a Hall of Fame coach, really did a good job with those guys in teaching physicality. These guys are hard hitting kids and they have hard hitting mentalities. That part of it I really enjoy. Now they're going to be doing some things that they hadn't done before from a schematic standpoint. So they're getting used to some things that they've just never done before. So there's been a big learning curve there. But in terms of the physicality of the kids, and just the work ethic has been second to none. I've been real impressed.
Numbers wise, is it a good sized group or is that something you're going to have to kind of
Yeah,
work
our
on?
senior class is good size. Our senior, I think we have 18 seniors, which is pretty good for this class of football. Our junior and sophomore classes aren't as big. However, we did gain some kids. They came out, which is nice, and added to our freshman class is large. At this point, we have close to 30 kids in that freshman class, which is nice. So they've added to our numbers considerably. I think 9 through 12. I think the last count I had was 72, which is pretty good. I'd like to be up around 80 if I could get 80, 85. But again, we're just getting started.
What group or position group or side of the ball has taken the biggest step forward for you this summer?
Well, I was real impressed with our defensive line play, which I was concerned about, to be honest with you. That was a concern of mine. But by the end of the summer, I felt like they had made the biggest strides going forward because there's some guys that are playing that have no varsity experience. But once they understood and learned how Coach Euler wants them to play, they did a really good job when we went up to Excelsior Springs and played them. Had a little scrimmage with them, so that was nice. Our backfield situation's good, with Noah Spencer returning. We have Matt Lindsay, who is kind of a quarterback slash running back guy that is a super athlete. Logan Pittman's also a guy that I think is going to fit really nicely in our scheme. So those guys are all really good. My son, of course, he plays some quarterback, and he understands my system very, very well. He's known it since he was a little baby.
You'd hope.
He's watched a lot of the things that I've done, so that gives him a huge advantage. And then also on the defensive side, I have to say our linebacking play looks really good, which is no surprise with Coach Euler over there coaching those guys too. So, yeah, there's lots of bright spots, but lots of work to be done. We are not even close to where we want to be right now, not even close. But we are. I felt like at the end of camp, we were a little bit ahead of where I expected to be. So that's positive.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Hey, thanks for the coverage. It's good talking with you again, Dion.
Dion Clisso with Preps KC here in the Preps KC studio, powered by Xfinity Internet, the fastest internet with multi-gig speeds to the most homes. As we move along here in the MRVC West Virtual Media Day, we're joined by Mark Thomas from Odessa. And Coach, it's another year in the MRVC West. It's always a tough league. You get a new coach in Oak Grove, and some guy named Ryan Schartz, who I think was decently successful.
Yes, he was.
In Fort Osage. So that's, Pat Richard, a good state championship coach, and they replaced him with a state championship coach. What excites you about your team this year?
Well, we're really young. That's going to be, we don't, our senior class is very small. I think right now we have 7 seniors. One of them is a part-time guy. He's a kicker only for us, and he plays soccer. So actually we have 6 seniors that we'll see on offense or defensive side of the ball. But we played a lot of young kids last year, and it looks like we're going to be a lot of freshmen and sophomores lining up for us this year, which is good for the future, but it's also scary for the present. So
how have they been doing this summer? Like you say, freshmen, first summer camps, and sophomores, just their second summer camps.
Yeah. Their transition is always difficult. And I mean, the ones that are going to be playing for us have done a great job. Obviously they're talented, but they've been doing all the right things and being in the weight room and, showing up for camp when we had our camps and stuff. So, from that part of it, but it's still the learning process, learning how things are taken a little bit more serious, maybe than what they did in middle school and Little League. So yeah, there's a transition, that's for sure.
When you look at this team, is it? I know you do a good job. Some years you come out and offensively you're run heavy because you got a good tailback. You've come out and you've had good quarterbacks and receivers. What does this group look like? Is in terms of offensively? What are you going to do?
Well, the biggest struggle that we're facing is depth, particularly on the offensive and defensive lines. And from what I've heard from other coaches, roundabout, over the summer, that's kind of a typical problem. But our situation is pretty dire in that regard. We just, we feel like that we can put together a pretty good starting offensive line, but if we lose anybody, which we know that there's always that possibility, and you're going to be lucky if you don't. So, but we know that that's going to create a lot of issues for us if that does happen. So with our skill players, we feel we have depth there, and that's where a lot of our experience lies coming back from last year. But um, the offense and defensive line, which we know that's those two positions are critical for success on both sides of the ball. So anyway, that's what we're facing.
When you look at your league and class three specifically, a lot of these teams you'll play because you play a lot of class four teams too, which is,
Yes.
if
Yeah.
you can survive the injuries
Right.
that come about
Right.
that, it makes you guys tougher down the line. When you look at the league
Absolutely.
this year, I know Harrisonville's been young. Center has maybe is a little younger now than they've been in the past, but Oak Grove and Pleasant Hills does a good job of replenishing players. How
Yeah.
how does that help you focus each week, knowing that it doesn't matter who you got coming across the field, you got to be ready to go?
Yeah, it's not good, and that's the thing, and I think that's the thing that is really difficult for our kids to understand or to learn. That it's a hard part to learn is there's no gimmies. That's for sure. Every week is going to be a challenge in itself, and you have to prepare for that week, and then you get through it, and win, lose or draw, you got to get ready because the next week's going to be just as difficult, if not more so.
Well, coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thanks for having me.
Dion Clisser here with Preps KC from the Preps KC studio, powered by Xfinity Internet. Now with up to 5 to 10 times faster upload speeds. All right, as we continue to move through the Missouri River Valley Conference West Virtual Media Day, we move on to Pleasant Hill and Coach Justin Hamilton. And Coach, good seeing you again. It's here. It's August. We're currently recording this in dead week, depending on when people are watching it. So it's the calm before the storm. How has your summer been? How's this team going?
It's been good. We graduated 22 seniors 2 years ago, graduated 19 this year or last year. We have 9 seniors this year. So, smallest senior class we've had since I've been there, but we have the most kids on the roster. We have 89 kids out this year. That's 20 plus sophomores and juniors in each class, and we got 30 plus freshmen, which we're excited about. And our seniors have done a phenomenal job of leading. That's what's been really fun to watch is, they selected "We Before Me" as our team motto for the year, and they've lived it, which has been fun to watch them bring some of our younger kids along. Weight room has been phenomenal. I talked about having 89 kids on the roster. We only had 3 days where there was less than 80 kids there,
Oh,
and
wow.
one of them was about 16 to 18 kids were gone at a basketball camp with the high school. One of them was right before 4th of July break, and the other one was the first day back from 4th of July. So, and we were in the 70s those days, and one of those were 79. So our numbers have been phenomenal. Our kids have been working, getting better, getting stronger, getting faster. And camps have gone well. We with the lack of experience at the varsity level coming back this year in terms of 3 starters back on defense, 5 on offense. We kind of changed the way we install some things, and it seemed to work for us. So really happy with where we're at. For us, it's going to be let's just get better as the season goes along.
It kind of changes your summer, probably. I would think with a little more competition at some spots and some guys kind of fighting for stuff. Does that bleed over into the first few weeks of practices? Still settle on some people from figuring out their spots.
Yeah, we have 4 to 5 guys competing for inside linebacker spots right now. We still haven't settled on that yet, and we're getting closer. We're getting there, but all 4 to 5 of them are going to play significant minutes. Is the thing. Now we have some depth there. We're changing defensive schemes a little bit, and and a couple of those guys are sophomores. We're going to play some sophomores this year, which we haven't had to do, and we got 2 sophomores competing for a receiver spot right now as well. And, once again, they're both going to play significant minutes, but that the title of starter isn't necessarily been determined yet. While, the rotate in guy, if he's the hot hand that night, he may end up playing more.
Yeah.
We definitely have that going on in some spots. That excites me because you get more out of them in practice as we head into the season. They get better, faster, and know what they have to work on and do things with a lot of intent because they want to be that guy.
League's going to be tough again this year. I think that's one of those. I think it's a good thing because every week you got a tough game, so you
Yeah,
can't. There's no looking ahead. There's none of that.
not at all. It's a grinder, and I have parents ask me about week 3, week 4. I'm like, shoot, guys, I said our non-con schedule got amped up this year. I said, I'm worried about week 1 right now. And then when that gets here, so hopefully we've improved by then and we're better. And, like I said, it's one of those things to me. Let's get better. And, how are we going to get back in the district championship game? Ultimately, let's get back to there and show that improvement every week and hopefully get some wins along the way.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thank you, Dion. Appreciate everything you do for us.
Dion Clissel from Preps KC here in the Preps KC studio, powered by Xfinity Internet, the fastest internet with multi-gig speeds to the most homes. All right, we close out the MRVC West Virtual Media Day with Warrensburg coach Chris Cavanaugh. And Coach, a good year last year. The program really, since you've got there, is you kind of established some consistency, which has got to make you feel good. Got a good group back, including your quarterback. You got to be excited about where this group is this year.
Yeah, we're excited about it, Dion. We've had an outstanding off season. We've got a lot of good work done this summer, both in the weight room and on the practice field. And as you said, we've got a lot of kids back off our team last year. We were 6-5 last year, played in a lot of close games, and we've got a lot of our key guys back. We lose some good players off of that team, but we feel good about a lot of the pieces that are returning to our team this fall.
Offensively, when you return Westfall, your quarterback, that's got to make you feel good. I think anytime a coach has a senior quarterback who's played for a little bit, that's a good feeling heading into the season.
Absolutely, it is. Kobe's a special player. He's been our quarterback. This will be his 3rd year. He was a sophomore starter and had a breakout season last year. Threw for 2,500 yards, rushed for another 800 or so on top of that, and had, I think it was something like 43 touchdowns on the season. So he had some outstanding offensive numbers. And there's a lot of kids that come back with him. His 3 of his top 4 receivers last year are back for us. We've got an 1,100-yard rusher back for us. That'll be a junior this year that we're really excited about. That's A.J. Smith. And we've got some kids up front that have played a lot of football for us. So offensively, we feel pretty good as we head into the start of practice next week.
Other side of the ball, you were in some exciting games last year. I know that defensively, you guys could give up some points, but you could score some points. What kind of are there changes, or is it just maturity of guys? And is there something different you guys are doing, or just it's that team was built that way and this year's team may be different?
Well, you said it. We had a lot of exciting games last year. We were in some shootouts, and first and foremost, we have to be better defensively this year to do the things that we want to do and have the season that we hope to have. And to answer your question, we've got 6 starters back on defense, and those guys, along with some others, we've had a great year in the weight room, as I've said, and some of those kids have just grown up a little bit. We were really young on that side of the ball last year. We started 2 freshmen, several sophomores, a few juniors. We've got a lot of kids coming back that just a year of growth has really helped them physically be in a much better position, and that year of experience helps too. So we know what we're going to have to do defensively. We can't get in shootouts every week. We don't want to have to score 56 points to win a game, so we're going to have to figure out how to get some stops, and I feel good about where we are. We're doing a few things different, and we've had some kids step up, and they understand what's at stake as well. So defensively, that has been a focus on our team, and I'm excited about what I've seen to this point so far.
The MRVC West is a pretty consistent league. There aren't a ton of coaching changes, but there was one at Oak Grove, and you bring in a state championship coach in Ryan Schartz and his assistant John Euler, and the Oak Grove's going to look a little different, but this makes that league even better, doesn't it?
It's always a tough league, top to bottom. The MRVC West is always just such a physical, hard-nosed league. There's so many tough kids in our conference, and you throw in there's some great coaches in our league as well. Everybody is super well coached, and everybody's kids are tough and they play hard. So that makes it a tough league. Every game is a big game, and every game you're going to have to bring your best if you want to have a chance to win it.
Well, Coach, it should be a fantastic season. Good luck, and we appreciate you taking time with us.
All right. Thank you, Dion. Appreciate your coverage.